I really was trying to get one right here, honestly.
You tell me which one's starting. It's like.
My apologies are under there somewhere.
Right up. Calling the meeting to order, starting at 6:30, please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag, the United States. To the republic, which stands, one nation. Indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Karen, why don't you start us off with the roll call?
Karen Delfino, Stacy Randolph Gendron, Seconded, Nicole Levine McGrath, Frederick Sherman,
Mike Russo.
Molly Smith.
Okay, do we have any amendments to the agenda? Hearing none, we'll start with the audience of citizens. Do we have anyone who would like to speak? We also have an audience of citizens at the end, so anyone would like to speak? Hearing none, moving on to the Quaker Farms presentation.
Thank you, everyone. Good evening. We're actually going to start out this evening with some Quaker Farms students that we have with you. A part of our big focus this year was on purposeful play and how even though it may seem as though you walk through our halls and kids are engaged in a lot of playtime activities, there's actually a lot of very important learning that's taking place during that. So we have a second grade class with us. This is DiMartino's class, and they're going to show you some of what they've been working on. And specifically, it was something that Mrs. DiMartino took right away from one of our professional developments that we had, where we had a purposeful play, full day PD. And I'm gonna let her introduce the kiddos and take it away.
All right, I'm Kelly DiMartino, and these are my friends that are coming to kind of show you exactly what we're gonna do. So we're gonna do 6 bricks, that's the activity. It's an executive functioning kind of activity. So my friends, I'm gonna have you guys stand up and introduce yourself. Go ahead. Adelaide, go ahead, come plate over here.
Hi, Lily. I'm Nora. I'm Happy.
And Liv. Okay, so go ahead and do your partners. I'm gonna give you your blocks. So they have blocks in between each other. No, we usually sit on the carpet, so it's a little different. But one of you stand here,
Absolutely.
and then one of you go over here, watch the wire.
Yep.
Lily and Nora over here. One of you here.
Oh, you're gonna get put in the.
Uh-oh, who's just putting you to the test?
I know. Okay, all right, okay.
Let's make it cost me money. All right.
Okay, so my first partner, they work in partners, so go ahead, Luke, why don't you come on this side? Dr. Reno can go on the other side of you. They can't see each other, yep.
Okay, all right.
You can't see what he's doing, the whole
all right,
logic
I
is
got
that you don't see what they're doing.
Fine.
So partner 1, so it's Nora, Hadley, and Luke, why don't you take your 6 bricks and go ahead and build? So they're gonna take their bricks and build, while the other partner faces the other way. They only use 6. Okay, so the other partner on the other side that wasn't building, they're gonna try to build based off of how they tell them to build it. So they're gonna use directional words, they're using their working memory, and then obviously communication. So go ahead, guys, you can start building.
Okay, so.
Hadley, make sure you're talking. Hadley's talking to Addie. Nora, you're talking to Lily. Go ahead.
So, wait,
How would you do it in the classroom? How would you give directions?
So
Addie, first, you're going to.
first take one long red piece. And take one long blue piece.
Go ahead, you start. Lily.
So take one long, flat red. Then take a tall, big blue with 4 pegs and put on top of the red so none of the pegs are showing. See? And then take a flat orange with 4 pieces and put on top of the blue so none of the pegs are showing. Okay. and then take a flat, like, black, and put it on top of the orange, and then none of the pictures showing. Okay. And then take, a tall tube piece, yellow, and put it in the middle of the, black, and the black, the two heads are covered. Okay. And then take a flat ring, put on top of the yellows and the picture showing. One piece or two piece? Two. Do you have your blue piece?
Yes, I have my blue piece.
Yellow? Okay, so no picture. So then, take that blue piece and put it on, so, put it on top of the red piece, covering 4 pegs.
Covering 4. Left or right?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Dr. Marina.
Okay.
4 pegs. Then grab a yellow with 4 pegs. Put it on top of the green on, my left, but your right.
Hold on, you're going weak. Let's see with 4 pegs, I got. All right, I think I got it. All right,
Right.
what was the second piece? Give me the second piece. Okay,
Don't grab it.
okay. All right, because I'm not sure I got the right ones anyway.
Got it?
Yeah, I'm changing my mind. All right, go ahead.
So grab that yellow piece. Put it on your right.
How many yellow pegs? 4. Oh, 8. All right. Got it. Okay.
Your right, and so only 4 pegs are showing on your left.
Got it.
Now, grab a green with 4 pegs.
Got it.
Now, put it on, in like the middle.
Okay.
So 4 pegs are showing on your right side.
I have 2. 4. All right. All right, go ahead. Got it.
Put it on the green so you can't see anything.
Okay.
Is the yellow hanging off on the right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, grab a red with 4 pegs.
Got it.
Put it on your right side. Oh, wait, no, your left side. So it's so 2 pegs are hanging off.
Got it.
Now, on your, right side, you're gonna grab a, blue with 8 pegs
Got it.
and put it on the, your right side, so it's covering 2 pegs and it's hanging off.
Got it. All right. Can I look?
Go ahead, Hadley,
Oh,
and we didn't finish. Go ahead,
Got it,
Hadley.
right? Not bad, right? I grabbed the wrong one on the bottom. Okay.
Piece?
You take a couple of those other 4 pegs.
Okay.
And then take a little yellow piece
Yellow piece.
and put it in the middle of those 2.
Okay.
And then take a long green piece
Long green piece.
and put it in the middle of that little yellow piece.
Okay.
So some sides are still hanging off.
And so then they turn around and then they look at each other's blocks and they compare if they're correct, what they did right, what they did wrong, and what they can do better next time. So
Alright?
you guys can turn around and look how you did.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not too bad. Great job. All right. That was fun.
This is just an example of how you may see them in our classrooms with blocks out and playing. But really what you heard was very active listening, clarifying questions, learning about directionality. Are we solid with left, right? What means on top of what? How to use descriptive words, and all through playing with blocks. And it's one of the takeaways that from that PD, our teachers were able to immediately take and say, I could try this the next day. And they're just doing a great job, and I was very proud. Your directions were great. Dr. Marino, you did pretty good.
Yeah.
You know?
Did better than I did.
So if it's okay, I was gonna dismiss the kids so that we can kind of carry on if you're all okay with that. So thank you all. So I'll let you kind of take that.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kelly. You appreciate it.
Thank you.
Great. And Sadie, that did great. It's nice to be- So actually, Jeanette, mom. So next part, back in September, when Quaker first did our presentation, we had Stacy Molinex, our literacy Quaker 5 coach, come in and present. Like hopes, wishes, dreams, here's what this position was intended to do. And we felt it was important to bring her back because Quaker has seen tremendous growth this year. Because of the fact that she's pushing in the classrooms, she's helping to create lessons that are tailored to our data. And we felt it was important for you to hear an update on how things are going. So I'm gonna invite her to come up next and talk about the great work that's being.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is just give you a quick, brief update of our mid-year status at this point in reading for K2.
What?
Yeah, I'll just point.
Yeah.
So Dibbles is our quick reading check. So what it really tells us is whether students are on track for reading or whether they need continued support. So basically what you can see is our literacy is on the upward trend. Over the past 3 years, we've gone from 61% proficiency in reading at the middle of the year to 69% proficiency at the middle of the year. So we continue on that upward track, and we plan on getting even higher than that by the end of the year. What this really means is right now, as we stand, 69% of our K2 students are meeting or exceeding benchmark standards, which is really great for this part of the year, because typically a lot of the learning happens from mid-year to end. So what's really nice to see is we're seeing the carryover from last year, from kindergarten into first grade this year. As you can see, 78% of our students in the middle of the year in first grade are reading at or above benchmark standards. Huge for first grade. Also, our foundation in reading, phonemic awareness, if you don't know, it's the manipulation of sounds. It's like the foundation of a house. If you don't have it, reading isn't going to really take off. You can see right now, 79% of students in kindergarten are at or above in that proficient area, as well as 91% of grade 1 is proficient in that area. Celebration, 87% of our first graders, nonsense words, basically what that is made up words that students have to read to see if they can apply the phonics skills that they're learning to a word that's not familiar to them. So 87% of our first grade students are able to apply those phonics skills when reading accurately at this point in the year. So our next step is moving from reading words accurately to reading with automaticity. If we go to the next slide, you can see we do still have some work to do.
The good news is in grade 2, 84% of our second graders are meeting or exceeding, benchmark in the ability to decode words. So they have the foundational base. They are able to apply phonics skills when reading, but the carry over to fluency, the automaticity part, is at 62%. So that's going to be our focus for the remainder of the year, providing targeted support in that area. We continue to do a tiered model of support, really focusing on students that need extra support throughout the year to help them be successful. So this is our snapshot of what our focus is for the remainder of the year. We're going to maintain those phonics routines because they are solid at this point. We're going to increase connected text, especially in grade 2, to really work and hone in on that fluency with reading. And we're going to continue. I do monthly data chats with teachers. So it really pinpoints what students need certain supports, and I give them suggestions and push into the classroom. So we're going to continue that data-driven grouping and discussion. And this is just a summary of everything that's happened. It's been a tremendous year, even with some bumps. And I think we'll continue moving upward. Thank you.
Kudos to Stacy, because the work that she's doing, I mean, as you can see just from her summary, we couldn't do it without her because the teachers have relied on her, like I said, to co-teach, to problem solve when they're hitting those bumps in the road and when we've had our other big bumps in the road. I jokingly was talking with Amy tonight and I said, have we all heard enough about Quaker? Like, ready for a new topic, but the work that's really taking place, despite some of the challenges we had, is worth taking note of. And another one I think that's really important is our next one, which is tied to our school climate plan. Although the school climate plans are aligned at GOES and at QFS, because they should be, as we're trying to bridge a smooth transition for all of our elementary students. The conversation that took place at Quaker Farms was that their mission statement had not been revisited in quite some time. And the committee felt that it was really important to make sure that they're not words on a page and that they're something that we are truly living and that we truly believe in. So whereas work started at GOES in trying to get our parents to share their core beliefs and things, at Quaker it took a little different approach. The staff really wanted to revisit that mission statement and make sure that it was what we truly are promoting in our building. And so we completed a staff survey that was completely blind so that everyone felt that they could contribute their honest opinions. And we wanted to empower everyone to feel like they could share their thoughts, their concerns. No, I don't believe in this anymore. We need to rework this. And so after that survey, we were able to put up what is our Quaker Farms word cloud, much like you saw the ones that we have at Great Oak. And what this one is highlighting is out of the 9 values that were listed in the survey, what the staff felt was the most important components. And what we were happy to see is that they are also directly words that are from our mission statement. So we weren't just living words on a page, they actually are what we hold true and important to this day. So that's the image that you see there. Another part of that survey was an open-ended question because I have been doing a lot of work at both of the buildings on restorative practices, pushing into classrooms, doing restorative circles, doing proactive lessons. And I wanted to ask them what their thoughts were. What's their comfort level? How are they feeling? Are we moving too fast? Are we moving too slow? What are your lingering questions? And a part of that was them being able to express kind of like the direction that they want to continue in, what's working, who's ready for the next steps. And it was very valuable information for me to know that the proactive lessons they're seeing, it transition then and be generalized by the students. They're appreciating them and they're feeling like it's support that they needed. So that was really good feedback for my part to know that the plans that, you know, I laid out and that were part of the position that was created here was getting good feedback. I was really happy with that. And as a final update for the school climate down at Quaker, we are also looking into a book club for Quaker Farms. But we're going to focus more on the end of still trying to tie in high quality learning and purposeful play, but from the responsive classroom restorative practices lens. So we have a couple of books that we've ordered. The staff are engaged in kind of reading a preview of them right now. And we're gonna use that as a professional dialogue and text next year at all of our faculty meetings. So that's a good summary of what's going on with our school climate plan. So now I'm gonna touch really briefly on those key drivers. I feel like it's complex for Quaker because when we met in September, our plans weren't developed and ready yet. We never got a chance to meet mid-year because of some things. And so here we are kind of in April where we're kind of past mid-year. So I'm gonna kind of give you as broad of an overlook as I possibly can, knowing that Quaker and GOES are very much aligned. So a lot of what you're gonna hear is similar, but it's, you know, how we're approaching it with our youngest learners. So key driver one was all about the implementation of our evaluation plan. And we have completed all of our mid-years despite having that gap in time. We were able to make sure that staff were receiving feedback timely and that those got accomplished in line with the other buildings. It was great for me to be able to get in and really dive into the classrooms, give feedback to staff. I really appreciated that time. We also, for our focus down at Quaker, like I said, was the play-based learning. We had that great professional development, but that's not the only things that took place at Quaker Farms. Our kindergarten classrooms have been very much advocates of trying to get materials into their classrooms so that their kindergartners can have more interactive opportunities. For example, one of the pictures that was up on the screen was of a kindergarten classroom who implemented a unit all about the mail service and had like a letter writing station. The kids were then putting on their mail person outfits and delivering them, not just to their friends in their classroom, but they were writing to other classrooms, other kindergartners, and almost setting up like pen pal situations. We also had some that were setting up grocery stores because in their text, they were reading about the community and they all talked about Market 32 and how they wanted to have their own little community grocery store. So we've been really pleased that we've been able to get them their supplies that they've been requesting so that the kids can translate and act out these experiences that they're learning about during their literacy time. So key driver two, I'm gonna kind of move quickly through because I talked a lot about our school climate plan. Just the last piece is that we do continue to have our STAR assemblies that focus on a specific theme throughout the month. I try to weave in lessons with the classes that tie into that theme, whether it be friendship or diversity or kindness, whatever topic it happens to be for the month at Quaker Farms. So key driver three, all about communication. We have our weekly update that you receive from Mrs. Cacase, but that also is happening at the classroom level. And I think that's worth noting that every Friday, our classroom teachers are also taking time to put out the communication to parents, updating them on the specifics that are happening in their particular classroom. And I appreciate that. They also put Rachel and I on all of those emails so that we're in the loop if they have something that they want us to come to or something that they're celebrating with their class. And I think that the parents appreciate that communication. We are always looking for ways to strengthen our social media presence. I think that's always a topic of conversation. We've seen it work both ways this year for the good and not so much. But I think that that's a part for our school that we're really looking into of just not just a typical like, here's our latest newsletter, here's this again, because they're getting that through an email. So looking at ways to innovate that and ways to engage parents in the experience that's happening, because so many great things are happening down at Quaker Farms. All right, so this one is all about our teaching and learning. What I've done down at Quaker Farms is create a shared folder, and it is of all resources that staff can use based on our play-based theme this year of what our professional learning is all about. It includes blogs. It includes free professional development that I've been researching and finding. For example, the Lego Foundation has free professional development for K-5 teachers that are invested in learning about play-based learning. And I've had many staff hop on you know, whether it's in the evening or when they have time during our professional development days and say, wow, like I took this one thing away. And that's all we want. If you take one thing away, then we're doing the right things. We have articles, books that staff have asked us to order that we have in this kind of hub. And we also include things when a teacher like Mrs. DiMartino comes up with a fantastic lesson that's working at her second grade level. We plop it into that folder because you can always make adjustments and changes and bring it down to our first and kinder and even preschool students so that they're learning the foundations of how play can really expand their learning. We also have our MTSS, our SRBI program up and running. Stacy, again, I'm going to give her kudos because she brings a wealth of knowledge to those meetings. She has so much data on our kids that are in that tiered process that our teachers come in and they feel like, wow, everyone at this table knows our kids. We know exactly where they are, where they need to go, and it's all thanks to a collaborative effort of everyone communicating, and I think that's really important. That the staff down at Quaker are really working on communicating where our kids are, how to move them forward, and if we need help, there's plenty of people that we can turn to and go to, and we feel like we've got that community basis now. And then these are just those, you know, wishes, hopes, and dreams. Thank you for everyone who was a part of the effort in getting our driveway fixed. I have to say, that was a breath of fresh air to be able to leave Quaker and not have my car feel like it's about to tip over. So that was a huge piece. We're looking at that first grade developmentally appropriate playground still. We have specific age limits that are on our playgrounds. And those first graders just are that in between age where the kindergarten one is a little too kindergarten, but technically age-wise, they just don't fit onto all of the equipment yet at the second grade one. So we're looking still at that and how we can make sure that our first graders are getting adequate outdoor time. And we're continuing to monitor enrollment down at Quaker. In terms of that, we've talked about that shift of staffing that may need to take place. And again, I'm just gonna advocate for that K-5 coach. I see what the literacy position is doing down with our youngest students, and it leaves me with a lot of optimism and a lot of like excitement about what potentially we can do if we have a balance of it in literacy and in mathematics. So that is just a summary of what's going on at Quaker Farm, and I think there's a lot of great things happening that I'm just pleased to share with you all. So thank you all so much.
I hope you got your cell phone. Okay, moving on to class trip to Italy.
I'm back again. This time not to Spain, but Italy. I'm Ally DeChico from the high school. We didn't get enough participants for the trip to Spain for this year, but that's okay. So we have a whole year ahead of us to plan for Italia 2027. 10-day trip with the same company, ACIS, giving the kids an opportunity to travel to Venice and Florence, Rome, Pompeii, Capri, Orvieto, and providing the kids with a bunch of activities like creating a fresco, pizza, traveling in Venice on the public vaporetti, the public buses. So I'm really excited to be able for you to consider this trip for the kids.
I was gonna ask how the Spain trip went.
You know what? I was sad, really wanted to go, but the seniors, they were like, Senora, you know, college is so expensive, we needed more time, and I felt like a heel. I was like, I'm sorry, but we're gonna get back into the saddle again, and every year, you know, we'll alternate, hopefully, between Spain and Italy.
Now, because I know that apparently cost does cause an issue. Is there anything we can do to help support that? I don't know if fundraising could be done. for the lucky kids who get to go. Now, is this open to all students or just in the Italian?
So, we'd like to offer it to our world language students, so this way it encourages them to take a language, continue with the language. So the Spanish kids could go on the Italy trip, the Italian kids could go on the Spain trip, they can go on both, you know, if they'd like to. We'd also like to include adults if they're interested, parents or colleagues, teachers, if they're interested, in joining the trip. ACES is really dynamic. They offer so many, I don't want to say like GoFundMe, but they offer a similar program to help families, to help the student, be able to get some money from the family. So that's another thing. But I think that's probably the best way to go because it's all controlled and it's all through ACIS. I've done pasta dinners in the past. I've done buy candle. I've done so many of them in the past. And I just felt like the juice wasn't worth the squeeze. We just didn't get enough revenue. Whereas I feel like, you know, with this new GoFundMe idea, you know, instead of a birthday present, Auntie, can you give me $100 towards my trip? Another fact too is we're a year ahead. So that's another thing, the families can make payment plans, you know, stuff like that. So I figured, you know what, let's see if we can get 6 kids or more, and, you know, and start the trips up again.
Great.
Thank you.
That's how many meetings we at least 6,
Yes, a minimum of 6.
and you didn't get any for Spain?
I had about 3 and I needed 6. Yeah, so. Yes,
Did you say that they have to be enrolled in a world language to go, or?
yes,
So
yes.
if they're a senior and they're not taking language, they can't come?
Okay, so here's the deal. The seniors are usually in the Yukon classes. And the ones who are not was because the class didn't run, so they would not, you know, be penalized. They would be able to participate. So we encourage the kids to continue with the languages.
But if they choose not to take a language, which they already made their schedule before they know that this could be a possibility for them.
Well, I don't think
Could
we
they
would,
get in?
yeah, I think we grandfather them in and let them participate if they didn't take the language because they didn't know about the trip.
Okay.
Yeah. So does that make sense?
Yes,
I hate to
that
tell
makes
kids no, but I don't wanna be like, oh yeah, sure, don't take the language, but you can still come with us. You know, type of thing.
And do you have a price for Italy?
Yes, it's 6,000, was it 6,100, I believe, 172. And that's for the 10 days, everything's included, including tipping, you know, 2 meals a day. The only thing that's not included is the transportation to the airport. And that. I know I shouldn't tell you this, but my girlfriends are like, oh my God, 6,000, that's nothing, our cruise cost us 3 and we went to Bermuda. I'm like, oh no.
It's not up for a motion.
No, it'll be
right?
on the 28th agenda.
Right, thank you all so
Thank
much for your time. Grazie, I wanna say that. I was just thinking, if the kids play and they do languages, that would be amazing. Imagine giving each other commands, take out the red, right? Hágalo en rojo. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
I'm on it next time.
Right? Bilingual. Okay, thank you. Thank you. What else is?
Moving on to school calendar.
So this, updated version of the school calendar, has our weather-related closures on it for all schools. So that includes the 5 snow days that we had at all 4 schools. This shows the new last days of school on the 16th and the 25th. You'll see those in green in June. And it also highlights the OMS and OHS promotion and graduation day, which historically has been the day before the last day of school. So this highlights all of that.
And this one shows us our $900.
Yep, we did. We did the math. We did the math. Yeah, so we meet both requirements of 180 days and 900 instructional hours at all buildings.
And I know that you can't truly factor it into the calendar, but I know that at Quaker, they have a lot of end of year events, and I think at least one involves goes. So hopefully when we do those
Yeah.
types of events, retirement when goes is actually in session.
Yeah, we had talked about that at the PTO meeting a few weeks ago, actually, that there'll be a lot of communication with Quaker and Goes and parents, just to make sure that end of year works out, given the special circumstances at Quaker.
Just wanted to put it out there for the hundreds of people that are, I know that the two schools work hand in hand, so alleviate some pressure or stress.
Yeah, we talked a lot about that at PTO.
Have we given any thought to maybe next year considering separating the two graduations on, like we did in the old days, and OMS on one day and high school on the other day?
We took this information from what the principals gave us in terms of what they.
Well, we've been
were
doing
doing,
this
yeah.
for a while, but we
Okay.
used to have it separated, it was actually very nice, because then you could celebrate one kid in one day and one kid on the other day, because I did have a year where I had an eighth grader and a high schooler
Yeah.
senior, and it was nice to have 2 days, because otherwise we would have been running from one to the other, and neither one of them would have had much of a celebration.
Yeah, I mean, I asked
have
the question,
so
it came up at a meeting,
Yeah.
you know, there's a cost savings by doing them both on the same day,
What's the
Yeah.
cost savings?
of setting it up, this.
The state is set up for days, that used to, I got kicked off the soccer field for days because it's.
Well, I'm just sharing what.
Yeah,
was
but I'm just
shared.
saying, well, yeah, but it's set up for days, it's not just up and down in one day, it's up for a few days, so especially on the weekend, they usually do. it for the weekend.
I'm just curious that now that we have a high school, why are we still doing a middle school graduation? Is there a reason why we have a high school now? Like, is there, I don't know, is that traditional? Is it not traditional? My school, it wasn't traditional. It's like middle school, keep going. Like, I don't know. Is that?
They have a moving up ceremony from 8th grade. I mean, they started it, so what happened is they did it virtual during COVID. And then the next year, they were gonna do it virtual again, and the parents were kind of like, well, why are we doing it virtual? You know, so then they said, okay, well, the best we can do is 2:00 on this day, and then I think it just seems to work.
Yeah,
For the
I think,
district. Before that, it
from
was
my
2
understanding
separate
is that
nights.
we didn't have a high school for many years, so we did a middle school graduation as a way to send off our students. But now that we have our high school and that's our focus, is to get our high school up and built.
It's probably been going on for 18 years.
It's,
Yeah,
it's,
I'm just saying,
No,
it's, the
yeah,
high school,
I'm curious,
I'm
like,
just. I don't
it's tough to
know.
walk it back. When you have a tradition, it's
We've
hard.
got kids that don't go to high school, it's just a way of wrapping it up, it's not like a graduation, like we don't wear a cap and gown or anything, it's just a nice ceremony, you know.
In my last district, we did an 8th grade promotion, and it was very similar, it was at 1:30 in the afternoon up at the high school. So very similar to what we do here. We just did similar to us, we didn't have space at the, yeah, middle school.
Any other questions?
Yeah, we'll put on 28th.
Okay.
Okay. Policy.
Yeah, we're on agenda, thank you. All right, so the first policy we have for first read tonight has to do with the curriculum committee. And we're folding in the responsibilities of the communications school business partnership committee. So we took the two, and we came up with a template of which outlines what the purpose is, what the responsibilities are, who should be a member, how meetings are to be handled, and the authority and the limitations, also the terms and review and whatnot, because we wanted to make it clear that, you know, the work that we do on a subcommittee or committee level is really important, but whatever we do at that level, we need to bring back to the full board for all 9 of us to decide together. And I think that really makes that point clear in the format that we have it now. So take your time, take a look at it. If you like this format, I would like to be able to apply it to the other committees that we have. So there's no questions later on down the road. Does anybody have any questions right now?
Nope.
Okay, so then the next item on the agenda would be if we adopt this new format, combining, the curriculum committee with the school business committee, then we no longer need the separate, bylaw for the school business partnership committee. So we would look to take that off our books. So that should be pretty simple to do. And then the last item that we have on the agenda has to do with the meal charging policy. And the takeaway from that is, we have My School Bucks, we have a program where kids can get their lunches through My School Bucks. And if there's ever a situation where the child comes up short and they don't have enough money for lunch, we are, as a district, are not going to shame that child. And any collection efforts that go forward would be geared towards the parents and the guardian, never the child. So we're never gonna refuse a child lunch, we're never gonna assign a different lunch that would signify to their peers that they didn't have enough money on their account. We'll take it up with the parents to make sure. And if there is an issue with parents or guardians who can't afford the lunch, we'll make sure they're aware of the programs that are out there to support them, so no child goes hungry.
Great. Any other questions on the policies? Okay, thank you, Policies Subcommittee.
Yeah.
At this time, any audience of citizens on the workshop topics? Hearing none, do we have a second? All those in favor? Opposed, abstained, meeting is adjourned at 7:11. Thank you, everyone.